Today you'll see how you can add a bust dart to a garment that you already have, whether you're refashioning or you're sewing, you're using a pattern and you're making a muslin. You might see some diagonal lines from the waist sort of pointing up to the bust. They do not look very good, and it just means that you need some shaping on the side seams in the form of a dart. So I'm going to show you how to do that by draping it onto yourself with some refashions. I've got 2 linen tops that I've refashioned and I'm sharing those with you today. Sneak peek, purple linen. I've added side bust darts. Fits amazing now. Stay with me. Hi sewing friends, I'm Karina from liftingpinsandneedles.com. Welcome to this channel that is all about sewing, limitless sewing. And I have 2 refashions, resizings to show you, but other than just showing you what I did with them, I just want to incorporate some really practical things for you to consider when you are looking at the way that your tops fit. Especially if you have a sewing C cup or above, you might find this fitting issue frequently in the garments that you're making when the pattern is not drafted for that type of cup size. And I'm not talking about full bust adjustments here, not at all, because sometimes you have the correct circumference. In this case, I am working with 2 linen blouses that I purchased. Now, they weren't that much larger than me, maybe just a size larger. So it's not that I had a lot of fabric to play with. They weren't so long either. And I knew I wanted to reshape them to me because they were just super boxy. I did unsew the side seams on these. You would have seen something similar in a recent video where I showed how I resized and reshaped a linen jacket to fit me. I was sort of going through the same process with these. Now, these originally did not have any darts or shaping at all, just very boxy designs. And I knew from the get-go that I did actually need some shaping on the bust there because these are structured garments. They aren't loose-fitting garments at all. They're not supposed to drape nicely over you, you know, they are linen garments. So I figured out I could use some shaping and thought I might as well share how I do it with you because it might be something that can make a big difference to the way your clothes fit. I have shown another way to resize, refashion things, and I've actually got one of these on, so I'll just change the camera angle and show you. One of the ways I have reshaped items to fit me is to actually put pattern pieces on top. So I keep the neckline the same, the shoulders I try not to unpick, and the center, you know, this has buttons, why would I want to get rid of that? I unsew the side seam, stretch it all out, put patterns there. This is the Harmony blouse from Love Notions, the shape of it, although this was already another thing. I have my bust dart there that fits me amazing. I was able to do that because I had a lot of length in the original blouse to play with and some extra width, so that did work. In other cases, it doesn't work. So with this one, I have plenty of width on the side. I had plenty of length to play around and place pattern pieces and get the proper shaping. The Harmony blouse from Love Notions has a side bust dart, and there's also one option that has an even deeper dart for the ones that choose the full bust option. So lots of options for fitting there. With these tops, it was just not possible. There was just not enough fabric to play with to use an actual pattern, and that's why I chose to drape these on myself. So I'll show you first. I took a picture of the before for a brown linen tank top. It's a piece I have been needing that is a staple in the color. It'll go with everything, and the fabric is used, of course. It's 100% linen. It is beautiful. So it doesn't need to be an elaborate design because just the fabric shines on its own. So I'll put a picture here on the screen and you're going to see, I've even marked it there, some diagonal drag lines that go from the waist and they point up to the bust. You can see that on both sides. This is something you will see very commonly if you keep your eyes open, look at people on the street, how clothes fit them. You know, you will see that a lot. And this blouse was, I think, a 1X. I had enough space, I had enough room there. There was just absolutely no shaping on the side seams. And I do need it. I do like a pattern with a bust dart because it just shapes the side of you. You're wondering, how do you just add a dart? Do you do a full bust adjustment? Because you've seen that full bust adjustments generate darts on the side. That's not the only option, you know, it's not the only way. You know, there are many ways to sew, and this is not a full bust adjustment. So you are working with a circumference that fits you. You don't need to add width or anything to that. You just need to add shape to the side seam. So I'm going to show you how you can measure on your body the difference that you have in the length from the nape of the neck to your waist on the front, and on the back, you will see that they are different. The front is always longer. The difference between those two can determine how deep your dart can be. That will help you achieve the proper shaping for you. I've tied something bright so that you can see. Just tie something around your waist to make sure it's marking where it actually is on the body. An elastic is good because the elastic will find the smallest space. Same way you measure your bust height, everything, you use the nape of the neck right here, just the base of the neck, and you measure down over the bulge that the bust creates to the waist. So in my case, I know that measurement by heart. It's 48 centimeters. That's 18 3/4 inches. If I take the same exact reference point at the nape of the neck, the same place I used to measure the front, put my tape and measure at the back, see my waist is level. I don't have the bulge of the bust at the back, right? So if I measure up to there, it'll be shorter. In my case, I know it's 44 centimeters. That's 17 1/4. I basically have a difference in the length. In the front, I have 1.5 inches longer than at the back. The back doesn't have that bust, so it's straight down. This one has the shape of the bust, so it makes it longer. So that 1.5 inches is what I want to take up on the side with a dart so that it ends up being even, you know, and to shape the bust. Easy peasy, you can do it on yourself. The smaller the bust, the smaller the difference. If you have a very small chest, your front might actually measure the same as your back. And if you have a larger bust, you might have more of a difference like that when you measure over the curve. So you saw how easy that was. Just tie up something, measure. You know, it's really easy to memorize this difference. I sort of know it by heart. My waist height doesn't really change if I gain or lose weight that much at all. It hasn't for the last couple of years. So it's in my head, 48 centimeters on the front, 44 on the back at the same waist level. And I just have a longer length because I have this shape there for the bust. So that difference of 1.5 is sort of something I know. And if I want to create my own dart, I know I want to draw my dart to have that width. When you add a dart there, it's going to be 3/4 inch to one side, 3/4 inch to the other to make it 1.5 inches deep. Now, if I'm doing a refashion, I am going to drape it on myself. I have the garment on and you're going to see how I've done this with the brown top now. I have the brown linen tank on. I have undone the side seams. I have already adjusted here and brought it in a little bit. It was a little bit wide for me. It was like a size or two larger. I'm happy with all the feet up here. But when you see this side seam just pinned and this just draping over the bust, you can see these drag lines that are diagonal like that. And you would have seen that looking worse in the pictures. It's not a good look on the side. I've already adjusted the back and done some darts, so I'm really happy with that. It shapes the back a little bit. But look at this. Look at those lines there. That's not that the blouse doesn't fit, it's just lack of shaping. Lack of shaping. So basically the length here is just too much and it's not shaping this curve here. So I have pinned the dart on this side. Just easy, just pinning it on myself. I have my bust right there and I know I don't want the dart to be right on the tip on the front of the apex. So I backed it away, sort of where I think it would look good. Pinched a tiny bit, started pinching away, and you can see it's directed right at the apex. It's not a big dart, it's the dart appropriate for my bust cup size and my shape. And you can see on the side how smooth that looks, how much better it hangs. Of course, I'm going to lose some length on the side seam from the front. This is going to be a little bit shorter and that's going to be longer. I don't mind, this is a refashion, I can't do anything about that. If this was longer, I might just make the back shorter to make it match, but this is already quite short, so I'm just going to leave the front shorter than the back and do a little slit there. That's my solution for this. If you were working on another project and you had length to play with, this doesn't matter. You can adjust the length afterwards. The important thing is to shape the bust. You can see the difference there to this side that has all these diagonal things there. Not nice look, and if I can fix it, why not? I've drawn the little dart I had pinned on myself there. So it's exactly the way I'd pinned it. I've just marked the dart point and there. Now I put pins through that, pin the side seams evenly so that everything's nice. And on the other side I have pins there, and I've put a pin through there and I've marked the dot, and now I can draw the dot on the other side and they will be exactly the same. So you saw how I draped it on myself. When you drape it on yourself, you know exactly where it has to be because you have your body right there. You can pin the dart where you want it to be. Now you have your apex, and the larger the bust, the further away you want that dart point to be. So you can see that on your body and just start pinning where you want it to be. The smaller the bust, I think the dart point can come closer to the apex point, but in my case, I like it a good, 1.5 inches away so that I don't end up with pointy darts like there. It's just not a good look, So you saw how I drew that and how I just transferred that onto the other side of my refashion. So if I wanted to draw this on a pattern, I would need my bust height, which is from there to there. And I have shown how to measure this really well in a previous video. I will put the thumbnail here so you can see. Also need the distance between one apex and the other. That you divide in two because you're just working with half the pattern. You mark your bust point there on the pattern, and at that height, and there you draw the dart that you know is going to have the depth that you need for your body. But this is refashioning. This is free. This is more free. So you can just drape it on yourself and it's so much easier. There will be discrepancies on the side seam. Of course, you are taking away length from the side from the original garment. So you are going to end up with a front that is shorter. If you have a long original garment, you can just even that out. I wasn't able to do that with my brown one. It is a design feature, and you see tops that are sewn like that are designed like that to be shorter in the front and longer in the back. I'd rather have this and have good bust shaping with the dart there than have an even hem just for the sake of it, because there's no rule that says that hems should be even. So I have my dart there. This up here was unchanged. It is a little bit wide here on the top, but I can cope, it's fine. And I also added darts here on the back. I did the same way by pinning it on myself, the same way you saw me reshape that black linen jacket. Same concept, I drew them on and I sewed them. On the side you can see the dart there. So from the stitch line there, it's 3/4 of an inch. Because there's two of them there, that makes the depth of the 1.5 inches, and then it goes off to the dart point there. That is further from my apex, and I figured that out by just trying it on myself. I love this. I just think I needed a brown top like this, and I'll show you in the lookbook 2 ways shorts, and I'm also pairing it with my wide leg Lisando pants, the print ones I've shown in the previous video. I needed something brown to go with those, so you'll see that too. I've got my refashion top with the Iris shorts from Colette I made a few years ago. I really like them, comfy stretch navy denim that I always think looks really nice with these tan colors, same as the shoes, heels. I wear them all the time, super comfy. And my refashion top has darts on the bust and at the back. They make a huge difference to the feet, and I'll show you details up close. I love the fabric, and it's just a staple color I didn't have for things that have prints on the bottom with browns. So originally this was a 1X or a 2X top, so this area here might be a little bit wide for me. I did take it in here a little bit, but it's still quite roomy. And the major change was adding the bust dart, so I'll just lower the camera and show you better that way. When you look at me from the front, you can see that the side is super smooth. I don't have that pulling or diagonal drag lines pointing up to the bust that happens when you don't have the shaping on the sides. It looks super smooth from the front. You can see my bust dart is right there, and because I draped it on my body, it is in the position it has to be. So I'm very happy with the fit there. It's super nice. It makes a huge difference. And I had already undone the side seam, so I was able to play and do that. There will be discrepancies here on the length, of course. So I have this one be a little bit shorter than the one on the back. That's okay. If you're working with a pattern or a longer top, you can adjust the hems for them to be even. But the shaping on the side is what's most important, that it's just super smooth, no lines, no drag lines. Like you saw, it was fitting originally on the pictures. I also did some back darts. They are little, they're smaller darts, but they do give some shaping. Makes all the difference to the way I feel in this and the way it fits. also paired my basic linen brown top with the glissando pants, the capri style that I made the other day. They have pink and brown, I think they go together. And also with the style, because this is a more straight leg and this is a bit shorter, so I wouldn't wear like a really long top with pants like this. I think they go really well. I was missing a basic staple this color in my wardrobe. I'm extremely happy with how this one fits, how smooth it looks on the front, how those diagonal drag lines are gone. And even though this was originally a boxy type top, I was able to put on darts in the bust, in the back. It makes all the difference. I get rid of the boxiness a lot, even though it's still a sort of loose style garment. It's not fitted, you know. If you hear noise on the trees, it's cicada season, so the males are on the trees making those sounds to attract the females, I suppose. So they are very loud. By the way, I found both of these blouses in a proper thrift shop in Chile this summer. So not on the street markets or anything, like a proper shop with everything on hangers, everything really neat and washed and stuff. And this purple one I'm going to show you next had long sleeves. Now it had those types of long sleeves that have a tab inside that you fold up, that sort of thing. And one of the sleeves was ripped right there where the sleeve tab was sewn with the button. So it was ripped. I knew I had to get rid of the sleeves anyway, but might as well have a good reason to get rid of them. Good linen fabric to use to make bias tape out of, to make the bias tape to finish the insides of my sleeveless garment. So this one has a lot of fun details, some pin tucks, and I'm going to show you also the fitting, draping process of how I just tried it on myself and then drew my dart. So have a look at that. I have this linen blouse inside out and I've already ripped off the sleeves. I have pinned there where I want to shape this arm side to. And you can see on this side, I've just got the side seams pinned on the side. I took it in a little bit here, but I can see some drag lines coming here. This doesn't have a dart anywhere. And because I've already taken apart the whole side seam, I can just create a dart there. So I've just pinched an amount and just sort of drape that dart onto myself at my bust height right there, and then I can continue pinning this side seam down, and I can see the fit is already so much better there with that dart there. So my front will be shorter than my back on this ready-made garment. I can just adjust the hems to match at the bottom and I don't really mind. I care more about having this fit nicely with that dart. So I'm gonna just pin this nicely, draw it actually on the fabric, and then transfer that same marking onto this other side so that I can also have a dart over there, and it will just be so much better. This is my purple linen top. I think it's a beautiful shade of purple and I have been looking for fabric this color. I have never been able to find fabric in this color to sew myself a garment, much less in the shops. So when I saw this in the thrift shop, I was just, oh my gosh, I just grabbed it and paid. How much did I pay for this? Like, I probably paid like $1.50, maybe that amount, what I paid in Chile for this top. And it's beautiful. It's 100% linen. It's super soft because it's already been worn. You know, that stiffness has gone. I finished the inside of the armhole with bias tape I made from the sleeves. I have plenty of purple bias tape made that I can use with other garments, and that's so nice to have bias tape made out of linen. It's like so up a notch. For this one, I felt I had a little bit of excess fabric on the back, so I also made little darts. These darts are very little compared to others I do, and it also just depends on what the original fit is on the garment. If it's already a bit fitted and I want to take some space away from the back, my darts will be very small, very short as well. So I'll show you those when I flip it inside out. But the most important thing was adding the bust dart right there. I don't know if you can see that, but It's right there and it finishes there on the seams. This one I did have length to play with, so I don't have like a longer or shorter side, but I just made the hem a little bit more curved there on the sides. Okay, on the inside you can see the bust dart there. It's perfect because I draped it on myself. There's no way to go wrong, and at the side when I drew it on properly, it has the depth that I need for my body, you know. So that's super good. Okay, the plain is gone. Now you can see at the back that the dart is very small, it's short, and at the widest part, the intake here is only about 3/8 of an inch. On other garments that are looser fitting, that I have more space, I make the darts longer and I'll take like 5/8 of an inch at my waist height on the back. So it all depends. I did this by draping, so it's never wrong when you're draping because you have your body right there telling you what fits and what doesn't. So that's what's freeing about this type of sewing. For the hem, I folded it up twice. It's quite narrow and it looks really nice on the linen. Fortunately, I had the purple thread to match, not much, but I did have. And I even put that purple thread on the serger. It's not serger thread. It's actually normal sewing thread that I put on little bobbins, so I had 3 of them. And that way I didn't have to have like ugly black or other colors that don't match. I do that a lot. When you see this on, you'll see it with shorts, and I've also styled it in a way that I'd been dreaming about styling. Not the way that I can wear this, but the way I would like to wear this with purple boots and my glissando pants, my brown ones I've shown in the previous video. So I would love to go out dressed like that. It's just that I would, you know, just combust with heat because I can't wear boots underpants here, you know. Purple refashion top full of pin tucks on the front. Got rid of the sleeves, finished the insides with bias tape. As you saw, I added bust darts for shaping. I also added some on the back, and I've just got it paired here with navy denim shorts. I love the combination of purple and denim. I think it's a really nice color that I've always wanted to have for something that goes on top. I'm so happy I found this in a thrift shop, it's just the best. Trying to match the purple flowers on the back here. This is a high neck. It's got like a mandarin collar. It's got buttons. I can just leave them like that. If I try to do this and fold it, it really skews the shoulder seams fit, so I don't do that, although I would like to just keep it like that. The most important thing was to add that bust dart right there. That makes it fit so much better. I did have the dreaded drag lines coming from here that way. So you see this is volume from the pin tucks. These are just vertical, but the ones I had originally were like this. From here that way, it's not a good look, and if you can fix it, why not? Down below I had a discrepancy in the hem, of course, but I decided to use that to my advantage, and I did a curved hem. Just made it shorter and then curved it. I do have some darts on the back there. Small ones, but they do make a difference in the fit. And my hem, I folded it up twice and top stitched it down with matching purple thread. Even if I get to wear this look just for this lookbook, I would love to be able to dress like this regularly if I had nice winter. I have my glissando crop pants with purple boots that I love and I wore a lot in the past. I still have them, and I have my purple linen top. I love this look. I feel really good in this, and I'm just happy I get to wear it, at least to share it with you at least once. I think if I unbutton this, it can also be tied up in the front and look super cute as well. Straight legs, shorter type tops that are more sort of fitted with darts and things. Love that. I hope this is practical. You know, if you have a top that you've made that is super long, that is sort of loose fitting, you can go ahead and undo the side seams and add yourself a dart. Who says you can't? You can, and you can get a really nice fit that way. If your pattern already has darts and is drafted for like your cup size, then you don't have these issues, you know. But in things that you've made in the past that were probably drafted for a B cup, that do fit the circumference, but you just need that shaping, those diagonal drag lines that go from the waist up to the bust are always going to let you know that you just have excess length on the sides here that needs to be taken up as a bust dart, and that will get rid of all that excess, you know. Also, if you have a garment that you've made that does have a bust dart and you have these drag lines, it just means that the dart is not deep enough. If you unsew the side seams and you make that dart deeper, like I did with my black linen top the other day, it had a dart, it wasn't wide enough, so I just made it deeper. It'll improve the fit and it'll get rid of a lot of those drag lines as well if the top you're wearing already has a dart there. It just might not match you because, you know, there is an amount there on the dart that is drafted in a pattern, but it might not match the difference that you have in the front and the back. So you just might need a deeper dart, you know. You can change those things and you can adjust the bottom of the hem so it can match. No one says you can't. These little tricks are so good because you can do them very easily and they'll just make your clothes fit so much better, and when your clothes fit better, you just feel better in general. So I hope this was useful for you. Let me know in the comments, do you have clothes that you've noticed those drag lines and you don't know what to do about them? Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you again soon with more sewing. Bye.